Good morning, 5-star. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Cindy, Marissa. How is everybody?
Hey,
Happy New
great.
Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, so welcome to our first live stream of 2022, and we are super excited about it. We've been doing some planning and just brainstorming some topics that are going to help you in your business and your life for 2022. And so we are super excited about that. And so we're just going to come out strong this year. So I have, just to reintroduce, in case you haven't met either of these rock stars on here, we have Cindy Beckwith. She has been in real estate for 15 years, right, Cindy?
Yep, 15
and you're
years.
in the Lansing, 15 years, and you're in the Lansing market, and you're supervisory broker over in the Lansing market, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then Marissa has been added to our Kalamazoo. She's all company, but she's based in Kalamazoo, and she's one of our broker support. And also she and I work together on education.
Yes.
So
good morning.
Good morning. So if you haven't met either of these, feel free. They're on our who to call list. Pick up the phone, say hi, ask your questions, schedule a meeting, however we can help you. So we're excited to have you here in 2022, and we're just going to dive right in.
Yes.
So one thing that we all do New Year's Eve, January 1, is we do what?
Plan.
Anybody?
Go
Plan. Party, sleep,
Eat for the last time.
vacation.
That one meme that said they got to eat everything in the fridge because it's almost 2022, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So we set new goals, and that's
Yeah.
amazing because we reflect on the last year. We look forward to 2022. We say, how do I want my life to be? How do I want my plan to be? So it's a time of reflection, a time of moving forward, which is absolutely amazing, right?
Yes.
And so the thing that we're going to talk about today is the golden question is, how can I know that I reach my goal? So when I come to December 31st of 2022, how am I measuring if all those goals that I was inspired to write, all those things I've been saying I wanted to do, how do I know that I got them, right? How do I know they got there? So one example, maybe you're on a health kick, you want to lose some weight. You should be able to look at December 31 and say, I lost 15 pounds and that was my goal, right? I've been working out, I'm in shape, I've been exercising, I feel great. So one of the things with your business is I had asked both of these ladies, what is it you did in 2022 to get to where I've seen your numbers? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get inside their brain, inside their practicals, and say, I looked at Marissa one day and I said, how'd you do that? Right? Remember in the office, like, well, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
And so it always comes down to breaking our goals into smaller goals that are attainable. We call them SMART goals, right?
Yes.
Specific,
Yes.
measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So then as I talked to her, I said, okay, so what did you do? And she's going to give you the answer today. And then I said, but then what did that look like? What did you say? What did you write? She told me exactly what she had her team focus on. So we're going to get inside their brains, not just talk about setting goals, but what habits do we build along the way that we can look at the end of the year and go, I now have a new habit. I had 365 days to build a new habit. Now my life has changed. My mindset has changed, and you can move forward with your success. So I love goal setting, but I like habit more because the habits I do today, if I want to lose 20 pounds in 2022, I use weight. But if I want to sell X amount of homes, I have to do something every day in order to get to that by the end of the year, right? We can always say, well, I want to double my business. Okay, how? Right? How are you going to do that? So the thing that we talked about, and we'll get to that as I talk to both Marissa and Cindy, is we're going to break it into quarter goals, right? We're going to talk about first quarter goals, which really break down into weekly goals, which break down to daily goals, right? And every day I'll be transparent. I've lost weight 3 times, right? But I like Noom. Noom is a coaching app.
Yes.
And I've done it before, and I'm back on Noom, and I had to, through COVID, here we go again, but at least I'm fighting against it. And I have to log my water. I have to log, it's not a diet. And I thought, well, I learned this the last time I did Noom. What happened? Somehow my mindset got lazy and I sat on the couch and ate popcorn and whatever else.
Yes.
Stopped
Yep.
exercising. So I log my water, I log my food, I log my exercise, I log my alcohol, because I have to rebuild the habit. I lost the habit, right?
Mhm.
So that's my little intro. So we're gonna dive in. We'll start with Cindy first. And so, so Cindy, in your business, then we'll go to Marissa, and Marissa, feel free to chime in along the way, but
Sure.
I'm going to come back to you as well.
Yep.
So I talked to Cindy a little bit yesterday. So in 15 years, you've built a very sustainable, stable business. So we want to look inside and just tell me, you wake up today and I have Cindy Beckwith real estate to build. What's your day? What do you do? How do you start?
Well, my personality, I think people have to figure out their personality and what works for them. I'm very task oriented.
Okay.
And I like I like to establish the habit. Like you said, the habit is in a daily habit. So I have in mind, and I keep it simple. When I get up in the morning, the very first thing I do is I make a list.
Okay.
And I write it down. For me, I mean, I have Google Calendar and all that, but for me, writing it down, it kind of gets my brain working. But also I have, I like being able to cross those items off, because then I feel like whether it's a small thing or a big thing, that I have the confidence that I have actually done something that day. But I'll write down my whole day. Like today, I mean, I should have gotten it's on the table, but I have a whole list of what I'm going to do and I'll mark it off. And what I like to do too is I'll go through that and then I'll look at my Facebook, my social media, because that may add to that list a little bit. Like if it's a client's birthday or that, you can, respond on Facebook, but I'll try to do that phone call and say, hey, happy birthday. Have a great day today. And then I work out. I have to clear my mind for the day, and I'm in that habit. And if I veer from that, I feel like my day's off a little bit, but that's really what I start doing in the day. The first
So
thing.
you get up, you have your list, and then you go do some self-care and get
Yep.
prepared for your day. As we
Yep.
all know in this business, if you don't exercise early, you're probably not exercising, right?
Exactly.
Most of the time.
Plus, it's
Not-
good for your mind and your brain, and it gets
Yep.
you going.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
it's real important.
So when you go to Facebook, what do you do? So, and I know Marissa is very, very disciplined about so many touches a day. Do you do that every day? Do you connect? Do you have a goal, or do you just roll with it? Because it's not anybody's specific plan, right? But when you're building your business every day, how are you keeping in touch with your past clients? How are you connecting on Facebook? Are you writing a note, a private message, a note that you put in the mail? Are you picking up the phone? A little of all of those? Or what are you doing every day? If I said to you, we have a new agent here and they want to build their sphere, or they want to connect with their sphere, what would you tell them to do that you've learned?
Well, what I would do is if they're going to connect with their sphere, first of all, I firmly believe in picking up the phone. I think I think social media is great. I do social media every day, but I also have somebody that I trust and I know that they'll represent me the way I want, that takes care of promoting myself. But as far
Okay.
as my clients and that, because I think for me, it's hard to promote myself. I think it's easier for me to have somebody do that. It's just uncomfortable for me. But for my clients, I do make daily phone calls, and it's not where I may have that list of it changes during the day. Like today, I've already made 2 phone calls to clients. One of them wasn't a super pleasant one, but I wanted to get it out of the way through my day and not have to think about it and worry about it. But I'll tell them, you know what, I think, list a couple people, call them on the phone. Even if they don't want to talk on the phone, at least you've left a message and you've done that task. And if I have a day where I'm like, wow, I really haven't talked to that many people, I will get my note cards out and I'll send a note, and it's easy. And I mean, you can say, hi, I was just thinking about you. I haven't talked to you, you know, oh, or if I got a new business card or something, and I'll do that. I personally, I feel like there's so many little things you can do during the day with people that will pay you back. And even if it's lenders, I had a call from a lender yesterday about a client she referred to me. And I made that very important to call her back, because that's somebody that, first of all, I can build a relationship to, and she sent a client to me. So I want her to be able to tell people, hey, I can refer Cindy to you. She'll call, she's on top of it and all that. So that's a brand building thing that's simple and free, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's awesome. And your list is sort of your accountability list, right?
It is. It really
Right?
is, Kim. It
Yeah.
is. And I rely on it. And like I said, I still have Google Calendar and that, but there's something for me that it's on paper. It helps
Right.
me be better organized than trying to get on my phone. It's a habit a habit I created. And it's helped me throughout the years in real estate, quite frankly. And it helps me with follow-up on clients.
Right.
Because that's another important thing is follow-up. If you're going to say you're going to do something, do it.
Yep. So actions, and what are they? Follow-up, daily habits, right?
Yes.
Good stuff. Marissa, I know you got a lot of things going through your mind right now.
I was writing notes because,
Uh-huh.
well, there's a lot, Cindy. I love that. Just organically, we're all on this call together talking about this because you and I are very similar in what we do, and didn't know that we were similar. So I was just writing down some notes, going, "Oh, I do that too. I do that. I do that." But I think for those of you out there watching, there are success habits, right? If you look at top agents, if you want to be successful in anything, you have to study someone that has been successful and see what their habits are. And there is, Kim, I feel like I heard you say this recently to someone, that it's not that you copy, right? You're not copying someone, but you are paying attention to what has been successful for other folks. You make it your own, you figure out what works for you as an individual, but you follow the formula. If there is a formula of success, you do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think, I'll start there with, everybody knows I love Ninja. And the reason why I love Ninja is because Ninja very specifically has contributed to my success in business. But it's Ninja is about mindset. Ninja is about habits. It's about everything that we're talking about right now. It's about what Cindy was just talking about in terms of touching people on a daily / weekly basis, starting your day off strong, setting intentions for the day. That's what I do. I do the exact same thing, Cindy. I sit down most days, I have 3 littles. So some days like today, because it was a snow day.
You always have one of those days.
Right? So some days I can't, sit down and do my 30-minute meditation and all that kind of stuff. But it's always the intent, right? So you wake up in the morning, you do gratitudes. What am I grateful for today? And do affirmations, affirm yourself, right? Because you're starting with mindset. Okay. And then you set your intentions for the day. And I do the exact same thing. I sit down and I write them out. I have to have them in 2 places. Because of my creative brain, I tend to do this. So I learned a long time ago for myself to be successful in this business, I have to have more than one place where I have things, just so that I don't get off track. So I write it down. I write my intentions down for the day. This is what I want to do today. This is my to-do list. Well, I call it my intention list because to-do list gives me anxiety. So I call it, seriously.
I love it.
Because if you have a to-do list, your natural inclination is to procrastinate. So I set my intention list, and then I write it down, and I put it in here. So there's something called I think most people know what this is Google Keep. So Google Keep, you can create a checklist for yourself. And so in Google Keep, I put down the same exact thing that I wrote down in my meditation time as far as my intentions for the day. This is who I want to contact. This is who I need to follow up with. I need to send notes to these people. So I set an intention list for my day on paper and both in an electronic way. But as far as in general, my team, we saw substantial growth last year. I would say last 2 years, 2020 and 2021, we saw substantial growth. And I strongly believe that is because as a team, Kim, you were talking about setting smart goals. I said this, with the broker support team, that it's not as simple as, okay, this is my goal. I want to sell 50 houses this year. Okay, that's great. How? And so how are we going to do that? I want to make, 6 figures this year. Okay, that's great. How? And so a couple of years ago, actually at the end of 2019, my whole team, we do business planning together. And so we sat down together and said, how are we going to reach these goals that we have for ourselves? So we have been specific about setting tasks related to the goals that we have. How many phone calls do we need to make? Do we need to do client events to get in front of folks? Our team has set goals for community service. We're a very community-based team. So we had to get extremely specific about the activities that we were going to do in order to reach the goals, our goals. And that happened because what you focus on expands. Right. So if you are, Kim, like you said, if every day you have tasks that you set for yourself in order to reach that overarching goal, there's no reason why you can't get there. There's no reason. And even if you don't, let's say you set a transaction goal for yourself of 50 transactions for the year, even if you don't reach 50, you're going to get close. If you're consistent with, your daily routine, and following those tasks every day. If you're at 10 goals and then you want to reach 50 and you hit 40, that's a win. It's not a failure, right? It's not a failure. I don't believe in failure, right? If you try and you attempt, that's not a fail. That is success. So I think it's just a large part of it is being very intentional about every single day working on your business and working in your business and setting those habits that both of you all spoke so eloquently about, setting habits that you stick with. And like I said today, you're going to have off days, but you can't let those off days become a habit.
Right.
If that makes sense. Like you can't let the off day you can't be off every day, right? Have the off day, leave it alone. Then
start over the next day,
on,
pick yourself back up again.
Or at lunch, I was like, nope, I didn't do my meditation today, but I'm not going to let that throw me off.
Yeah. So I have a question. So we had a conversation a few weeks ago and I was asking you about your team and congratulating you on such a great year. And I asked you specifically, what did you do different? And then you said, my team focused on this one thing.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So our one thing was listings. I had a coach last year. Actually for the last 2 years, I've had a coach. And sorry guys, the internet in the office is being weird. So we were a very buyer heavy team, very buyer heavy, which is not bad. We love helping buyers, especially first time home buyers. That's been our thing. Right. But we wanted to work more. We wanted to get more listings. And my coach said, you're very buyer heavy. Like what are some things that you guys can do and some tasks that you can set for yourself to get more listings? And so we sat down as a team during our business planning session at the end of 2020 and said, okay, we need to focus on listings. How can we do that? So we set very intentional goals for ourselves in terms of, we set quarterly goals for listings.
Okay.
So every quarter we said we want to hit this goal for listings. And then we also said, okay, if this is our goal for getting listings, what are the activities that we're going to do? Are we going to do postcards? We did an 8x8 campaign, meaning we touched our sphere 8 times for over a course of 8 weeks. So we got very, very specific. We sent out at the end of 2020, we sent out CMAs to our whole client database. So we were very, very intentional about hitting folks and presenting ourselves as a listing team. And so we were able to increase our listings for 2021. So from 2020 to 2021 by 30%.
Wow, that's amazing.
1 year. I
I
was going through my business plan, y'all, and I was like, oh my God, is this right? Is that right? It blew my mind. It blew my mind because you set the goals and you just get in it. You just do the things and you know that you're doing well, but you don't, you're not really thinking about like how well you're doing until you're assessing at the very end of the year going, oh my God, we did it. So that's how important it is to like set daily tasks for yourself, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. Set those tasks for yourself because it works, y'all. It does. I promise you.
So I'm going to ask the question, how? So you said, one thing you said you did CMAs. Tell us how, just a brief overview. I know, late in the
it's super easy. I'm all about easy and efficient, right?
Yeah.
So with CMAs, we're actually working on those right now to send. That's normally something we'll send at the beginning of the year. So we have a letter, a really quick little letter that says, hey, Holly and Joe, Happy New Year. We thought it would be great for you to see what happened in your neighborhood last year. Right. Yeah. And then we do in the MLS, you can do a 1-line CMA, you just kind of do it based on, their home, what the comps are, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, a mile or under. Right. And we staple that 1 page to the letter and we put it in an envelope and we send it out.
That's awesome. It's awesome. And you probably have something a little bit about your team or it's on letterhead or something, right?
It's on a letterhead. Yep. Okay. It's on letterhead. And it's just, and again, we're sending it to our entire database. So people that we've already worked with, that's who we're sending this to. Because we've sold them houses already, right? Because of the way that the market is, and the fact that people are experiencing pleasure and pain, people are going through transitions. You want to be top of mind when that transition happens. And I'm telling you guys, for this past year, a lot of our listings, I've only been doing this 6 years. And I say only just because most folks don't have a lot of repeat clients in their first, 5 or 6 years. They just don't, because people stay in their houses longer. But because of the way the market has been, right, we had a lot of repeat clients last year, a ton of folks that just bought from us. Bought our homes from us 1 to 3 years ago, but wanted to take advantage of the market. So us sending those CMAs out, they were thinking, oh my gosh, let me call Marissa and team again because I'm ready to sell my house. I just bought it, but I'm ready to sell it. So that was key, I think.
And that's amazing. And I meant to mention when we introduced you that, so Cindy's 15 years, Marissa's 6. And so
and 5 years with 5-star. Just 5 years.
5 years with 5-star. So, we have someone who's been there a little longer, but you could still do it in a shorter amount of time as well. I always say the system that works is the one you work, right?
Yes.
And so Cindy has her own personal system. She has somebody that helps her with marketing. Marissa is very ninja oriented, the Ninja 9. She follows that system, she teaches, and it works. So whatever system you're going to do, it's really important to do it. If you're going to farm, you have to do it, right?
Yeah.
So you also said, that's thank you for sharing, because that's one of the things you did. And then the other thing you said was we focused on the 50 calls per week.
Yes.
So in the next 4 or 5 minutes, can you tell me, who am I calling? What am I saying? Am I going to Facebook? Am I writing notes? So I have to touch, if you told me to 50 people this week, I'm going to get on the 5-star contacts and call the agents and say hi, because I don't have 50 people to call.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't have 50 people to call.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I was just having a meeting with a new agent the other day, and we were talking about exactly this, right? Because the comment was, well, I don't have 50 people to call. And I will always challenge that you do, right?
Okay.
If you sit down and you go, who does your hair? Who does your nails? Who's your chiropractor? Who works on your car? We know 50 people. Maybe you have a ship shopper that it consistently comes to your house. Your dental hygienist. Every time I go to get my teeth
people everywhere.
cleaned, there's people everywhere. You know people.
Yeah, everywhere.
My dental hygienist is always asking me every time I go see her, hey, how's the market, girl? Every time. I don't bring it up. I do not bring it up. She does, right? So we know folks, we do. So I think that step one is that you need to create a database. And that database is a very fancy word for list of people. Okay. So don't get discouraged and overwhelmed by, I gotta build a database. No, just it can be on paper, it can be on a Word document, but sit down and write out everyone that you know. Even if you don't have numbers or addresses yet, just sit down and write down who you know, right? That's the first step, right? Second step is get that information, right? It can be through social media. Social media can be used as a tool to gain information, right? So get their information. And then step 3 is just start reaching out. So what do I talk about? I don't talk about real estate. You talk about them, right? So with Ninja, we call this forward. So you talk to them about their family. You talk to them about their occupation, their job. You talk to them about recreation, or if they're into golfing or something like that. You talk about that. Hey, how's golfing going? You golfing in the winter? I don't know.
Have a Florida trip planned to go golfing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you talk about their dreams. So if you know this person, if they mention casually that they want to go on a big vacation in a couple of years, right? You bring that up. So forward is you talk to them about themselves. You lead them in conversation about themselves. You are not talking about yourself. You're calling them, picking up the phone, or I do text, I do Facebook inboxes, whatever. You have to learn what works for folks. Everybody doesn't answer the phone. So, but your goal is to touch. That is your goal, to get that conversation going. So you touch them, you say, hey, you ask them 4 questions. How's the family? How's work? Blah, 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 whatever. You let them talk a little bit, and then you say, hey, all right, that's awesome. I'm glad we had a conversation. I look forward to seeing, how your year goes, if you're doing these at the beginning of the year, whatever. And then you end the phone call or the text, right? It's just a touch, right? So that's 50 a week. That's 50 a week. That's 10 a day, right? And that works. It's called flow. You're staying in flow with people because you want to be top of mind. Everyone knows a ton of realtors, a ton. So you want to be the realtor that they call when they have a need. And you can do that by staying in flow with them, staying top of mind. And so my team kicked butt with doing that last year. And it was easy. We have all different types of personalities on our team, but humans are human. Okay. So if you feel like you're an introvert, you still know people and you, you know what I mean? You can still connect with folks based on, Ford, family, occupational, recreation, dream. You can still connect with people, and it doesn't have to be long drawn out conversations. Believe it or not, y'all, I'm not a phone person. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Okay. You make those conversations quick and go on about your business. Cause I can't I have too much to do. I can't sit on the phone for hours at a time. Right. So you make the conversation quick, you let them talk about themselves, and you say, hey, thanks for taking my call. I hope all is well. Look forward to seeing you or talking to you again soon. Go on about your business. But do 10 of those a day, y'all. 10 a day.
Just touch base with people. That's awesome.
humans.
I think what we showed the 5-star community is that it's just doing life, but you're very intentional about it, right?
And
You're
consistent.
consistent. Yes. Every day, just, and I've noticed that when you get in a flow for anything, whether you are writing a paper, doing a live stream, connecting with clients, I get these ahas that will go, oh, yeah, that, right?
Yes.
And so people will come to mind as you get in that habit of, oh, I haven't talked to them. I need to give them a call, right? I need to just say, hey, I'm thinking about you, right?
Yep.
It's that simple. So one of the things we wanted to show as we close here is it's easy. It's your world. It's your people. It's caring. It's being interested in them. I'm not pulling out my business card. Now on your CMA, it has your name and your team on your one-line CMA, but it's not about us, right? It's about you. So
Exactly.
I love this conversation. It went by. I felt like it was 3 minutes.
It did.
So, yeah, it did. So we're going to wrap up. Do you have any final thoughts? Maybe we'll be able to come back to this again. Anything either of you want to say as we close?
I just want to say, everyone, treat this first quarter like you're prepping for the big game. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't rest. Let me not say that. Do rest. Have balance, but don't take a step back and say, oh, I'll get to that. March is going to be upon us before we know it. Right. So take this time to really dig into what you want your business to look like this year and what activities are going to get you there. Prep for the big game now. Yeah, I like it because, I'm sorry, Cindy, because otherwise you're going to look at March 1 and what do you have in your hand, right? Go ahead, Cindy.
Right. Time's gone by. Yeah, and just don't be afraid to do something. If you do something, you're gonna find, get out of your comfort zone a little bit and do those things that you're a little afraid of doing, and you'll be glad and you'll feel like you overcame a lot, because real estate is a great industry and you can do it. You can do it.
Amen.
Yes. Yeah. So if you have any questions, reach out to us, schedule a one-on-one. I'll close with this. Last year at this time, I did a state of the market. Very simple, but I thought I've got, past clients that I haven't been in touch with. And from that letter, I got 11 sales from a database of 40 probably, right? And so that one thing, so this year I'm like, oh, I got to do that again, because it's just one little thing. I didn't do a postcard campaign. I just done a state of the market. And some of them that called me, they stuck it on their fridge. And one client said, this is a sign, so they sold and bought, right? And then the other one got transferred and they said, do you remember me? I'm like, ooh, that means I haven't been in touch with you, right? Because I don't send you anything. I don't remember. I did remember them. But long story short, they got transferred. Then they sent their sister-in-law, bought their first home, and then the parents followed the kids and they found there was 3, there was 2, there was 5. And I did send them the letter as well, right? The people that said, do you remember me? So I think, oh, I'm missing so many opportunities. Be Marissa and Cindy, don't be Kim, because Kim doesn't work the business. I love brokering, I love teaching, and I help my friends and family. I'm not building a team, but I do practice. So as I've taught the agents, I've been practicing, like, how can I teach them to do this if I'm not? So I'm like, all right, I'm doing state of market. And then I'm like, oh, that's a ninja.
That was money. You're like,
it makes a difference. Just those little mailers and things like that. I build the business by myself. I don't have a team. And it keeps, like Marissa was saying, top of mind. They see your name and it is effective and it works. Yes. It really does.
Well, we'll end it with this. People do business with those they know, like trust, and are in flow.
I don't know. What's the and? What's the
and they are in flow with.
Are in flow with. Yeah.
Ninja. I like that.
What you said.
That's a ninja thing. And are
it
in
is
flow
a ninja thing.
All right. Thank you for everyone for watching today. Thank you, Marissa and Cindy, for being here. And we are looking forward to bringing you some hot topics every week. Be sure to tune in, prepare your business, and we're all going to have an awesome spring, summer market. Amen. All right, everybody stay warm, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye,
Have a great
everybody.
day.
Bye.